I just decided on a super spontaneous live stream. I haven't announced this anywhere, so I don't expect a lot of people to tune in at all. I just finished recording a YouTube video and I'm gonna be drinking some tea, and I just thought, like, you know, let's try a spontaneous live stream. As always, it's crazy overexposed and there's nothing I can do about it, so I'm really sorry about that. I have a face and a bit of eye bags, you know, holiday eye bags. I guess we all have holiday eye bags right now. Who else is crazy tired? Hey! Yeah, this is totally spontaneous. I didn't plan to live stream at all. As I said, I was just like finishing a YouTube video, and I have some tea, and I have a little bit before I have to be at my shift at the thrift store, so I thought, like, let's live stream. Hello! And as always, just feel free to ask me any questions. I mean, all I'm gonna do is like drink tea, so. Thank you. I'm happy you think I look beautiful. I am so tired. I mean, look at my eye bags. Ugh. Good morning. I'm good. I mean, I am so tired. I don't know how every year the holiday season can just like knock the wind out of me. I think this year it was because I've been hosting so many things. And I mean, I just slept for like 11 hours and now I'm like a poofy mess. And that's of course when I decided to film a YouTube video. But I wanted to like wait and, oh no, I have to calm down and look perfect and stuff. But, you know, who cares? It's okay. Happy holidays! So I decided to just embrace my eye bags. I didn't even put on makeup, which would probably have made my eyes look bigger and more open. But that's okay. So yeah, just feel free to ask me any questions if you want. Yeah, otherwise I'm just gonna drink tea. What are your plans for the last days this decade? Well, I'm gonna celebrate New Year's with some friends. Today I'm gonna go for my volunteer shift at the thrift store. And I do all my resolutions at solstice, so for me these days are not like super crazy important at all. I have waist-length hair, how would I braid in dreadlocks? Well, what you can do is, and I actually also show that in my how to install and style wool dreadlocks video, is you can just braid the top part, secure with an elastic, and leave the rest of your hair out. This actually gives a much more natural look, especially if you go for a partial install, which I would recommend since you have such long hair. I would recommend getting dreads the same length, installing them on the bottom of your hair, have a partial install, only braid this part, and then leave your own hair loose. That will just make everything blend so beautifully. So, and it will be way less hard on your arms. Thank you. I have accepted that without makeup I just have massive baby face. I mean, this overexposure really does not help either. It gives me like round moon face. But again, it's okay. That's what I really like about live streaming, is that it's, I mean, there's no filter on this live stream. I don't know if you can tell if it's on the corner or something. There's no filter right now. And that's also something that I like about live streams, is that it sort of just shows how people look in real life from different angles while moving, you know. It's not like one perfect photo. And I'm sure you can pause this live stream like a million bits where I look completely ridiculous, and I really love that. That's why I like live streams, actually. So yeah, throw those questions at me. Oh, you're too kind. It's the dress, it's doing all the work. I'm gonna wear this dress for New Year's Eve, by the way. I layer it with this bra, which I really like, but I think I want to go more festive for New Year's Eve. My favorite tea is PG Tips. It's a strong black tea, and I drink it with oat milk, and that's what I'm drinking right now. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I really love this dress. It is crazy magical and crazy overexposed. And it's a little too big, as you can see, so I always have to wear it with a belt. But actually, I feel like it being too big just makes it more flowy and magical, and it's super comfy. So, and it's thrifted. I thrifted it online, and the video I just finished filming for YouTube is a video with tips on online thrifting. So if you're someone who likes a dress like this and think, how am I gonna thrift online? Then that video is for you. I have to edit it, of course, and I mean, I have to host New Year's tomorrow, so it won't be out like immediately, but probably within a week it'll be up. So if I'll ever get dreads installed again, yes, absolutely. I also have I have plans for it already. I just really like the versatility of going back and forth between my own hair and dreads. And I mean, this is super lazy, just like throw my hair up, and I like that I can do that, and it's not so light, or it's more lightweight than with dreads. So yeah, I like the versatility, but definitely gonna get the dreads back. I always go back and forth. I don't know how long you've been following me, but I always go back and forth between dreads and loose hair. My plans for New Year's Eve is we're gonna have some friends over and eat some great food and probably play some board games and party. And it's gonna be lots of fun. Right now I'm crazy tired and it's a little overwhelming, but I'm sure it's gonna be great. I also hosted the annual Yule family dinner, which resulted in like 3 days of dishes. So I'm a little bit like, oh, but this will be less, like there's less pressure and it's also less people. So thank you. Green and gold is my favorite combo. Any tips for braiding dreadlocks into waist-length hair? Well, I don't know, were you the one who just asked? Because I literally just answered that. I don't know if you heard. Basically, just braid in, like, you have waist-length hair, waist-length dread, braid in till here, secure with elastic, let your loose hair hang out with the dread, it will look more natural and your arms won't hurt, and it's perfect for like a partial install. So that's my tip. How I'm enjoying learning the kalimba very much. It's actually right here, and I thought like if there's a stall in questions, I'll play a little bit. It's super easy and intuitive, I think, to play. Thank you so much. I'm happy you like my style. Yes, this is a bind rune that I made from twigs. It has the Feho rune, and then I covered it in lights. And I also covered my plants in lights, if you want to see. Boop. I got lights hanging from the plants here, which is something I really like. Oh, that's okay. I hope you got your answer now. But yeah, basically, not braiding in all the way is the way. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm really, really happy. When people tell me that I have made them appreciate thrifting and secondhand and hand-me-downs, that really, really means so much to me, because there are just so many positive things about thrifting. I mean, not only is it sustainable and cheap, I think there's also something beautiful about passing down garments to other people and sort of the energy that comes with a thrifted garment and the history it has. I just love it so much. Thank you. I wish you peace and happiness in 2020 as well. Hello from Denmark. I actually like this angle better for live streaming, so it was good that I wanted to show up the plants. It's actually, if you saw my Yule tree, I did this like light up Yule tree, DIY light up Yule tree. All the light here are the light chains from the Yule tree, because of course the sustainability of it is that you can take it apart and reuse all the parts and put it together again. Yes, the kalimba was on my wish list. It was at the very top of my wish list. I always make, I make a wish list, I work on it all throughout the year. I totally appreciate a surprise present, but I also want to make it easy to get me something I really want. And I actually got only thing from my wish list this year, I think. No, I got my aunt and uncle got me reusable beeswax wrapping for food, and that actually wasn't on my wish list, but that was just perfect. They know my soul. But yeah, the kalimba, I had also chosen a specific kalimba because I think if you don't, I had researched a little bit about like what's a good quality kalimba that's not too expensive, but I mean, I enjoy music a lot and would prefer an instrument of a certain quality, so I don't expect my family to then make that research on my behalf. You know, I've made some research about what kalimbas are good. Yay! I'm so happy I inspired you to stop with fast fashion shopping. That means a lot. It honestly does. I mean, I really genuinely care so much about this, so it means so much to me. And I mean, there's already so much beautiful, gorgeous clothing out there. I mean, not even just secondhand, but if you think about vintage and the opportunities with vintage, it's just, we can explore ourselves and our fashion sense without ever having to buy new clothing. how I decide which slow fashion brands to work with. Well, without sounding super like, oh my god, I'm so great, I'm quite, I have quite, what do you say, like specific standards for brands I want to work with. Because, as I've mentioned many times, I don't make any money off of Instagram. And I'm not planning on making any money off of Instagram. Like, I'm not an influencer, I'm not paid to blog in any way. So that means that what I do sometimes is I do art trades. So a nice slow fashion brand, they will let me choose a few pieces and I will pay for them with exposure and photos. So no money changes hands. But that also means, of course, that I have to be quite certain that first of all, this is a brand who shares my values, and that also this is clothing I would have bought anyway, because I am putting full-scale photo shoot and everything together for them. So the way I decide is, of course, it first has to be sustainable, it has to be slow fashion, otherwise there's not even any discussion. Then it's also a lot about how much have I already taken on. I never want to take on too many collaborations at a time. I want to give each collaboration the time it deserves. And also, even though it's slow fashion, I don't want too much clothing. I still try to limit how much clothing I have. And I also respect the time of the maker. If they spent so much time creating a beautiful slow fashion piece and I can't give it the time and the wear it deserves, I shouldn't accept it. So I think about that a lot as well. And then of course the last thing is aesthetic. Do I think it fits my aesthetic? You can be an incredible slow fashion maker, but if I can't see it working with the rest of my wardrobe, again, I respect your time and energy too much to just accept it for a single photo shoot. I think every garment deserves to be worn. I don't accept anything that's just for one shoot. Everything deserves to be genuinely, regularly worn as part of my daily wear. So, oh, I think my hair is kind of falling apart. If it was difficult for me to find a merch company that is sustainable, I'm a bit confused because I don't know what you mean about merch. I don't offer merchandise. Do you mean the printed clothing from my shop? Or, because I don't know, I wouldn't consider that merchandise, but I guess you could. I mean, for me, merchandise is like, I wrote my Maggie on a t-shirt, you know. But if you mean the printed clothing for my shop, yes, it was really, really difficult. It took me more than a year to find sustainable suppliers, sustainable printing, everything. I was actually thinking about doing a video with Kalimba, but there will also be on my new album, which comes out February 2020, there will be a Kalimba track. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with my hair here, but whatever. Yeah, okay, this is actually really funny. Do you consider my Hugo onesies merchandise? There's nothing wrong with that at all. I just think it's kind of fun because, again, for me, merchandise is me like writing my Maggie on a t-shirt. And I think it's kind of funny if people consider the onesies merchandise. But I would love to hear if you think that and why. Just purely because I'm interested, not because there's anything wrong with it. Of course, anytime. Yeah, it is, I will say, finding sustainable materials, a sustainable supplier and sustainable printing and all that, it is a ton of work. I mean, if it wasn't, more people would just do it. So be prepared for that and be prepared for putting in a ton of work way before you can put anything out, because you also have to test it. With the onesies, for example, I knew already they were going to be pretty expensive. So I had to test first and see if they were the quality I required them to be and all that. So there's a lot of time and also quite a lot of money you have to put up front. So yeah, you have to be aware of that. Okay, so maybe merchandise for me is, because of course in Danish, English is my second language. And in Danish you only use the word merchandise for like band merch or a YouTuber merch. Like that is merchandise, that's all that is. It's fan wear. It's something you wear if you're a fan of something, but I guess I realized that in English, the word merchandise can also just be like used synonymously with goods or something. I don't know. French or Dutch braids? I actually always wear Dutch braids. It's because I have traditional fine Scandinavian hair. So while my hair is pretty healthy and everything's fine with it, there isn't like a ton of it. That's just my hair type. And I have an undercut, which also really cuts into the thickness. And I think that Dutch braids, because they are on top of your head, makes your hair look more voluminous. So I actually always do Dutch braids, unless, I mean, my ultimate lazy day hairstyle is a French braid. But I just started like up here and it goes down, because I rarely wear my hair out just like loose on an everyday basis. I either wear it like this or in a French braid or in 2 Dutch braids, or that, you know, the braid crown I do, which is just like 2 braids that I then like flip over my head and pin. I know my hair isn't crazy long, but it's still long enough that I feel like I need to put it up, actually. No, unfortunately, I don't dye my hair with henna anymore. Actually, now we're talking about hair, let me take it out. I don't dye my hair with henna anymore because I had a lot of problems with it fading to brown. Brown is my natural hair color, and for some reason my hair just did not like henna, and I tried many different brands, many different methods. I tried mixing it with all sorts of things. So what I ended up doing, I searched a lot about what was most sustainable, and then I tried buying like discontinued box dye, but there's so much single-use plastic in box dyes. So what I did was I went to the local hairdresser in town and I asked her about sustainability and sort of how they do it. And actually, I found out that going to the hairdresser is the most sustainable, because not only do I dye my hair way more rarely, it lasts way longer. She only mixes exactly the amount of dye she needs to cover my roots. I actually just had my roots done. So that you can see they're very close to my natural hair color, just like reddish. So she only mixes the exact amount she needs to cover my roots. Everything, the bowl, the brush, everything is washed and reused. And actually, yeah, I just discovered that from so many factors, it is the most sustainable to just go to a good hairdresser and have them dye your hair. I go every 6 weeks. I never have to touch up my hair. It never fades. So I use way less other products like color bombs and directions than I did before. So yeah, again, everything is crazy overexposed. Why though? Yeah, I mean, some people's hair just don't react fine with henna. I have very fine hair and it's very, very, very smooth. Like, you can't curl it either. I mean, I braid it every single night. That's the only reason it has a little bit of texture. So, I mean, getting it to curl, getting anything out of it is really, really difficult. So my hairdresser, she mixed a custom color for my roots, and that stays extremely well. And because she got much closer to my natural hair color is quite dark, I got this beautiful gradient and I have to dye it much more rarely. So, yeah, I mean, you know, I'm always on the search for like the most sustainable option, and there are so many factors, because of course there's the dye itself, but also the fact that you, as I said, like there's no leftover, you mix the exact amount you need, it lasts longer, there are no single-use plastics, etc. And actually, I thought it was going to be crazy expensive, but now that I only go every 6 weeks and I don't use any other dye products for my hair, it's actually cheaper. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. I mean, the gradient has become very nice. It's darker than it looks on this. Again, it's so overexposed. Sometimes if I hold something light, it will... I don't really have anything light I can hold. I don't know why it's so overexposed. Oh well, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna put it back up. Because, as we all know, it's nice to have long hair, but it's also extremely impractical. Now you can see how I always do my big bun. Like this. Random hair tutorial. So I put it up in a ponytail, and then I pull it halfway through, and then I spread it out to make it sort of big and fluffy. And then you've got to tuck under the ends I'm doing this without a mirror, like only in the reflection of my phone screen. So then you just start to pin it somewhat, and then like pull it out and make it messy. And then I have these, which is like my undercut growing out. Not the whole thing, just the sides. So I sometimes have to pin that up in the back. Good morning! And we're back to messy bun. Again, if I had actually had a mirror, it would probably have been better. But I mean, could be worse. Hello! Can I put the earrings back on too? But yeah, this is like my go-to lazy day hairstyle. Just like crazy messy bun. Thank you. No, my hair is definitely not dry. Actually, one of the things about henna is that it can make your hair kind of dry. And I did notice that henna wasn't super good for my hair. It made my hair quite dry. But of course, you say my hair can take a lot. Each part of my hair have pretty much only been dyed once, at least until here or something. So I just dyed the roots once and I never touched them again. That's the thing about this hairdresser dye, is I don't have to touch it up. And that's how the bottom of my hair can look so healthy, because each section has only been dyed once. And the tips, I occasionally touched up with directions, but they're never like bleached or dyed again. So I think that's kind of the secret to how you maintain healthy long hair with an artificial color, is that you can sort of like, each section is only dyed once. Thank you. Yeah, getting fine hair to do a big bun can be a challenge. I will say I do have, I was just at the hairdresser a few ago and I said like, oh, I have fine hair, and she said, well, you actually have quite a lot of it. So I guess it's not as bad as I thought, but this tip is really good. It always works. Yes. Everyday messy hairstyle always works. It looks great with earrings and a cut like this. So I actually thought I wanted to play a little bit of kalimba. I've been working on a track for my album, and I'm not going to play that because it's too soon. I have actually a track for my album, which is an old Danish folk song, but you're going to have to wait for that. But actually, what I really like about the kalimba is now that I learned to play it and learned the hand positions, you can actually improvise quite a lot. But of course I also learned of course we need that one. But actually what I really like is that you can just sort of improvise now that you know like the hand stances. That was not good. So what you have to do is you have to keep your thumbs opposite. Don't get them too close. They have to be opposite. Then you get some nice harmonies. Yeah, you can see like this doesn't sound very nice. But if you do opposite, it sounds super nice. The little kalimba tutorial. It's just because I'm learning and I'm having a lot of fun with it, so. So this is really nice for, I think it gives a very meditative sound, but actually the song I'm working on for my album becomes very sort of pagan and dark sounding, which I think is kind of fun with this instrument because it ultimately sounds so fairy-like, you know, but you can do any sort of harmonies on it, so I'm really excited to learn more about it. Yeah, so you don't want to do that. That doesn't sound good. So this is completely just me practicing and improvising. This is just you listening in on a practice session. But I thought that would be kind of fun. I mean, often you only see people playing instruments once they're like perfect at it. And I'm not afraid to admit that I've literally had this for less than a week and I'm not perfect at it. But I think it's fun. It's fun to learn. And the more I play it, the more I learned. Spelua, I don't know what that is, actually. I'll have to Google it. Yeah, it's super cute. It is fairy music, I think. What musical instruments I play? Oh, that's a long list. I started with playing the drums, orchestral drums and drum set. So for both drums for symphonic orchestras, everything with mallets and drum set. And then I started to play the guitar and then the piano. Piano just like for, in Danish you say brugsklaver, which is like useful piano, which is just like, you know, you're not a beautiful piano player, but you use it for composing and for making chord arrangements. So I think the piano is a great tool for making music. So that's the level of piano I know. And then as a kid, I learned to play the wooden recorder. So I have two of these, a soprano and an alto ones. And these I play fairly well. Okay, not as well as I play the drums and the guitar. And then I played a little bit of the violin. Unfortunately, I couldn't afford lessons anymore, so I had to stop. I think violin is probably what I'm weakest at. And then I play my ukulele. Actually, this I've only had for, I don't even know, not so long. But I've been playing this so much, I actually feel really confident on it now. And then the kalimba, of course. But I would say that the only instruments I'd say that I'm like fluent and comfortable and confident in are the ukulele and the guitar and drums. So those are where I would say like, okay, if we're starting a band, I'd feel comfortable playing those, whereas the rest is more just like for a flavor occasionally. I mean, especially with the flutes, I really lost a lot of the training just for playing it well. But this one also has such a really nice sound. I don't know if it's tuned. Not fully tuned, it's a little off, but it's not bad. That's a little off. And I always use my phone, it has a tuner on it, so I can't tune it. Well, I am kind of a one-man band, you know. All my music, I play all the instruments myself, and I record everything myself, and master everything. I have an Instagram for my music, it's called Elverlys, and in the bio of that, there is a link to my YouTube where you can listen to all my music. I will write out what it's called right here. It is called Elverlys. And that is also what the Instagram account is called, and then there's a link to YouTube. You can also find my music on Spotify and everything. And actually what I just played for you is also the start of a track of my new album. And this is called Morgengry, and Morgengry is basically the point where the sun breaks the horizon. But this is, I mean, I'm not going to play the full thing because I also want to save some for the album. But yes, I guess this has become like an album teaser live stream. So that's just the start of that, which I'm working on. I really like, so this is a Thomann, that's also from Thomann. Thomann is one of my favorite places to get instruments. This is what they call a ukulute. So what it is tuned like a ukulele, but it has a lute sound and shape. And this is sort of like a instrument that I really thoroughly enjoy. I kind of just went for it. This was quite expensive, so it was a bit like, will I like it? Will I like the sound? Because I just played a cheap ukulele, but I actually really enjoyed the portability of the ukulele. So I just kind of jumped and went for it with this one. And I really, really, really love it. Of course, it's not fully tuned right now, so please forgive me if it doesn't sound... Yes, I do use my my instruments for D&D when I play my bard. I actually wrote a theme song for our Dungeons and Dragons group, and I would totally play it for you if it wasn't in Danish. It's really funny and it's really good, but it's in Danish. So yeah, I wrote a theme song for our group, and I've actually played it in game a few times. And I wanted to use this for spellcasting. I talked to my DM, which is also my boyfriend, and we talked a bit about maybe having my character travel to the Fey realm and acquire this, and then use this for casting spells. You know, like I cast Inspiration, and like, you know, Shudder. I was like, especially for Inspiration, I think it would be cool. I would love to like do a little tune that goes with every spell. I would love to get like fun little quips in, but the thing is, all the generators I find in all the lists are all in English, and we play in Danish. So there's a cat. He wants to go under the chair. He loves napping under my chair. Yeah, I mean, I was worried that maybe the other people would find it. I think it's quite important when you're someone who's like musical that you don't force it into everything. It can also become a little bit annoying and a little bit like, oh, look at me, I'm so talented. So I was a little bit hesitant with introducing the musical instruments to my character. So I just did it really slowly and like felt the room. But fortunately, all the other players thought it was really fun. I think it's important that you don't, I mean, as I play Bard and we play like 8-hour sessions, I think it's important that don't for every single spell I have to play a song, like that's gonna get annoying. But introducing little musical elements, little rhymes, coming up with rhymes on the spot and such is really fun. That's why I love playing a bard. And I think I could come up with little tunes for each spell, so I think then you would kind of know. And because the first thing I said to my boyfriend, like, oh, can my bard use this instrument? And he was like, well, how did your bard get that instrument? You know, and then a whole like plot thing comes from this. I mean, nothing is finalized yet, and I don't know if any of the players are watching this live stream. I don't think they are, but still, it's kind of cool how real life things and real life ideas like, oh, I love this instrument, I want to use it for D&D, then can become an in-game story arc, I think. I think that's pretty cool. I have to find a way to wall mount this. It's difficult because of the round back, so usually it actually just sits in the chair I'm sitting in right now, but I have mad anxiety about accidentally sitting on it, so I'm gonna have to find a way to hang it. And I would love to find a way where you could really see this, like, maybe I'll actually hang it like this, so you can really see the back, because I think the back is just really beautiful. aside from my guitar, which is the most expensive instrument I own, I think this is probably, yeah, the second most expensive I own. That's the thing about musical instruments, is like good instruments are unfortunately not cheap. But I have to check the time because I have to go for my thrift shift at the thrift store. Let me just see. Oh yeah, I am gonna have to sign off now. So if you have any final questions, like, get them in now. Yeah, I know, because I have one for my guitar, but I just don't think those wall hangers are super pretty. Oh, but yeah, I'll see what I can find. I can probably DIY something. I'm sure I can. I'll post a photo once I found a way to hang it and a spot too. So I wish I could just hang out here in this corner all day and just play music and chill. And I feel like, you know, I've had vacation, but I've had so much to do that I haven't really had the chance to just like sit here and play music. So it's actually really nice to just do a little bit with you guys. Maybe I'll have a little bit of time later today to do it. I also have to start recording my album, because now I've written so much music but that I haven't actually recorded. But I have some new equipment, so it's a little bit intimidating, I think, to start something new. But I will, and the plan is that my new album comes out February 2nd, 2020, because I think that's kind of magical date, you know, it's 02/02/2020. Kind of magical. So February 2nd, 2020 is the plan for when the album will come out. But of course, as with any creative process, so much can happen. So we'll see. Anytime. I'm so happy you enjoyed it. And thank you so much for joining this super spontaneous live stream. Have an awesome day. Bye!